when I tell you that people who are part of the HOA board are the pettiest motherfuckers on planet Earth, let's just talk about it. So you probably heard my story about the lady who blurted out somebody's name in an HOA meeting that was in like affordable living or something like that, affordable housing, right? You don't need to be mentioning that, because why do you fucking know? Which means that clearly people talk in these HOA meetings that have no fucking dealings, right? Now, if you're a homeowner, you know that in pretty much every neighborhood, there's somebody that's renting out their home as kind of like a rent-to-buy or a rent-to-own or something like that. So there's this family who is living on the other side of our neighborhood that this woman in our HOA meeting was actually bitching about. Now, here's what was crazy about what she was bitching about. So like I was saying, most of these homes in your neighborhood, they're owned by someone, and some people who own their homes do rent them out, completely fine. But the lady at the HOA meeting, she goes and she just overextends herself to the point where other people on board were like, you shouldn't say that. She says, I don't understand why that family is in our neighborhood doing the things that they're doing. So obviously, me being new, being an asshole, I said, well, exactly what are they doing? This woman says, and I quote, well, they're using their lawn chairs in their driveway. Why do they do that if they have a backyard? Last time I checked, they own that fucking home. They can put their goddamn lawn chair on the roof if they wanted to. I don't care. It's not disturbing me. It ain't disturbing you. So I say, well, what is it about them using their lawn chairs, like cookout chairs, for example? What is wrong with them having it in their driveway? And this lady says, well, they like to sunbathe and they like to sit outside, talk amongst themselves. And I'm like, is that a problem? And she was like, yeah, it kind of disturbs my peace because my office is in the front of the house and, you know, I just don't want to hear that all day. Now, this would be an issue if she didn't live literally like 14 houses away from these people. So not only do you live 14 houses away from these people, you are bitching about something that you can't have a say-so on because they're not disturbing you. They're not on your property or anything. That's how petty some of these fucking HOA people are on board. But I got so many other stories. Another quick story. In this same HOA meeting, it seems like, you know, this HOA meeting, because we only have like 2 or 3 a year, but all the dirt comes out, all the tea, all the drama, right? So my neighborhood has a bunch of other smaller communities within it, right? And the HOA manager, the person who's supposed to manage our property, didn't know this. And I'm like, have you driven past our neighborhood? Have you figured out like what's to our neighborhood? Or are you just like, or are you just someone who is just a manager of a property and you give the fuck less? Like, could you care? And the answer is she didn't give a fuck, because she told us that this doesn't work for this property because we don't have access to that, but we have access to everything else. And I told her, I'm like, that's not how that works, because of the fact that we're not a part of that neighborhood. That's a completely different subset of our neighborhood. I'll give you an example. I used to live in what's called the Greens of Marlton in Maryland, right? Now, the Greens of Marlton is a subset of multiple different variations of Marlton. So you have Marlton, Marlton East, Marlton West. Then you have the Greens of Marlton. Then you have another set of Marlton, right? That's what I'm attempting to say, or convey the message of. She was saying that, oh no, this is one large community. It's like, no, that's not true. Like, we have different pockets of that. And again, when I say HOAs ain't shit, it's not that I'm saying that they're all bad, because there are some that are good. I just know in my personal experience, my one experience with HOAs, the issue that I've had is they have more control over things that they can't change. And then if something were to happen, or if you do it yourself, you get fined for it. Like, I asked for a new mailbox because the kids that are in our neighborhood, they're young, they're stupid, stuff like that. So they'll sit on the mailboxes and stuff like that. Mailbox tips over. I asked the HOA, you know what she tells me? Oh yeah, that's on USPS. No, that's on you. You, as the property manager, are supposed to go and contact USPS, and then they are supposed to do something with the government in order to get a new mailbox out here. Because guess what? If everybody's mail falls out of the fucking thing, that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother issue. But to answer the question from Stardust, or more so, just a statement, because that's a statement, that ain't a question. The reason why the pettiest, most power-hungry individuals always end up on board is because they have nothing to do. as somebody who used to work from home, hearing other people who work from home and that are that petty about their neighbors is disgusting. It's crazy to see. But you would be surprised to know that it's like, it's not just them. It just be people who are just, they're nosy. There's no such thing as neighborhood watch anymore because you got next door and you have stuff like that. But when I tell you, this HOA meeting that I went to, I learned so much that I didn't care about. Now, there are some important nuggets like, people talking about how the trash should be dispersed and how the budget should be raised for stuff like snow removal and, dog poop and stuff like shit like that matters to a homeowner. But once they start getting into the nuances of what certain neighbors do on their property, that's when I had to draw the line. So to tell somebody that they couldn't sit on their property in lawn chairs because it just brings down the property value, no, fuck no. Now, I would say, like, there are neighborhoods that I've driven through and that I've seen that have multiple cars in their driveways. And I'm like, okay, that's their property. But then if they start driving on the grass, now then I'm sitting there like, all right, now that's kind of ridiculous, bro. Like, you're going the extra mile to fuck shit up. Again, excuse the noise. But ultimately, like, HOAs are there to, in my personal opinion, help out. But none of them do. So y'all let me know, like, am I wrong for thinking that, like, HOAs, like, they serve a purpose, but then they actually don't do the job that they're expected to do? Y'all let me know in the comments.